I'm in the process of making what I think are amazing terrariums out of mason jars. Really, come on, mason jars, aren't we just hooked already? So what I'm doing is these, ta-da! So all I've done is cut a hole in a mason jar and thrown in a succulent. Easy breezy, right? So what I'm going to what I'm going to do today is show you how to cut this hole in the glass. And I know that sounds intimidating. It's not. It's all about first using the right tool and then just a little bit of patience. So follow along with my video, and soon enough you'll have an amazing little mason jar terrarium also. Okay, let's get started. So we're first going to prepare our surface. I have a piece of cardboard here with a towel on top of it. That just gives us a little bit of cushion so that our jar doesn't get marred or scratched as we're moving it around. Then you're going to want a pair of gloves on your hands, because as you cut out your hole, it will get little shards of glass broken off and you don't want to cut your hands. Then you're going to want a bowl of water. That's going to cool your blade off as it's cutting so it doesn't get too hot. That's really important actually. And then the last thing, the most important thing, is the type of bit you get. You can get any size, just depends on what size hole you want. You can get really, really small or you can get larger. I have a 70 millimeter. But the most important thing is that it's diamond coated so that it can cut through the glass smoothly. Okay? So let's actually cut the hole in the glass now. Woohoo! You're first going to want to dip your bit into the water just to get it cooled off to start with, and then you determine where on your jar you want your hole. So I want to leave a little bit of space down at the bottom to hold my dirt. I don't want it too close down to the bottom and I don't want it too close to the top. So I want it kind of somewhere in the center. I also like the mason jar markings on this side, so I'm going to do it on the opposite side. So when you go to start your cut, do it at an angle. Don't try doing it flat like this, or you're going to have a hard time. It's going to slide around. It will already slide around a little bit, but it'll slide around a lot more if you try going flat onto the jar. So go at a little bit of an angle. Let me try to show you what I'm talking about. So leave a little bit of a gap like this. Okay? So then when you start cutting, just go in little bursts. Don't just keep cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. Go in little bursts and then put it in the water to cool it off, and then come back to it and do it in little bursts and then go back to it. But don't put too much pressure on your jar. If you're pushing down really hard on it, you're going to break your jar. So just go in, just gentle, really just kind of let the bit cut it real gently. It'll probably take you about 20 minutes to cut through this jar. So I'm going to speed it up for purposes of this video. Okay, so I'm going to first start this off for you here so you kind of see what I'm talking about. But I first have to plug in my drill. That's one, it's a very important part. Pause. Okay, I'm back. My drill's plugged in. Thanks for hanging out with me today and learning how to properly cut a hole in a mason jar so we can make a terrarium. Follow along and see how we install these beautiful terrariums in my home. Hi gang! So I'm in the process of making this amazing mason jar terrarium. Pause. I have a very important call. Ooh. That was my Star Trek impression. It was pretty good, actually. It should not be this hard.